The fight was a bit frantic and very competitive from the very beginning.
Older now, you know, even when we was younger, that would have been a great matchup. But you just don't, you never know. I heard that he posted us and talked about us doing.
Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis have just confirmed they'll fight each other, but only after Gervonta retires from boxing later this year. The announcement has split boxing fans. Some believe this fight is being set up purely for the big paycheck, knowing both fighters can draw a huge crowd. On the other hand, others point to Gervonta's recent interview ahead of his match with Lamont Roach Jr., where he shared some details that he had never mentioned before, suggesting there's more to this story than meets the eye.
When I talked about the thing with Gervonta, for instance, when I said that I need all fighters.
Gervonta Davis revealed that his relationship with Floyd Mayweather began to sour after Floyd learned that Gervonta and his daughter Yaya Mayweather had been involved romantically. This news didn't sit well with Floyd, who quickly took action to prevent things from getting too serious between them. His first move was to push Gervonta toward a loss in the ring. However, Gervonta, with his incredible knockout power, proved to be unstoppable, and Floyd's plan didn't work out as he hoped.
Letting them know what's going on, like, see, this was happening, like, you feel me? I'm letting these guys know, so when it be like, people saying they want to fight me, it's
like, how could you, nigga, I was the one that was...
The next step Floyd took was to kick Gervonta Davis out of his boxing gym. This was a key moment that led to their separation. After this, Gervonta could clearly sense that he was no longer welcome by Floyd Mayweather.
Crazy trash talk with Gervonta and Terrence Crawford recently. And one of the things that I've always...
Soon after, Gervonta Davis left Mayweather Promotions and decided to go solo. As his career neared its end, he started looking ahead to what would come after retirement, beginning with an exhibition fight against Floyd Mayweather. However, things took a more heated turn when the two began feuding on social media.
Those are lifetime losses. And you know, as long as you know you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you know you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
The situation took a turn for the worse when Floyd Mayweather not only sided against Gervonta Davis in his most recent fight, but also acted in a way that seemed out of character for a boxing legend. Mayweather didn't stop at just making an Instagram post about the fight being canceled. He went further, calling a fight that should have been an easy win for Davis a 50-50 match. To top it off, he even gave Frank Martin some advice on how to defeat Davis. The rivalry between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis became so intense that Mayweather secretly reached out to Davis's opponent, Frank Martin, offering tips on how to defeat Davis. Whether Martin ignored the advice, or it just wasn't enough, we'll never know for sure. However, on fight night, despite a strong start from Martin, it was Davis who came out on top. After 1 minute and 49 seconds in the 8th round, a powerful punch from Davis sent Martin crashing to the canvas, securing Davis his 30th career win.
Mayweather seemed resigned to lean against the ropes and allow Maidana to fire away.
The real issue, however, wasn't just about the fight itself. The true drama came from the involvement of Floyd Mayweather, who had been in a bitter feud with Gervonta Davis. This rivalry between mentor and protege had become one of the most talked about conflicts in boxing. Ahead of the fight, Frank Martin revealed in several interviews that Floyd Mayweather had played a role in his preparation, hoping to help Martin take down Davis as payback for the disrespect Davis had shown him.
Loves to embrace guys, so what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting, and has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
Boxing fans and experts were shocked when Frank the Ghost Martin revealed that he had been receiving guidance from none other than Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather. The two lightweights faced off in the ring at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on June 15th, where Gervonta "Tank" Davis successfully defended his World Boxing Association title.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 in the morning. You know, go do it when...
As expected, there was a lot of trash talk building up between the two fighters. Heading into the match, Gervonta "Tank" Davis was the clear favorite. However, in a pre-fight appearance on the Pivot podcast, Frank "The Ghost" Martin revealed the advice Floyd "Money" Mayweather had been giving him. Martin shared that Mayweather had been giving him tips, similar to the aggressive style of Mike Tyson, to help him gain an advantage in his upcoming fight against Davis.
My thing is, I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to...
Frank Martin has openly admitted that receiving advice from Floyd Mayweather gives him a unique sense of confidence. In response to critics, Mayweather has lashed out, defending his actions, saying, "I do what I want to do and support whoever I feel like. What's wrong with Frank coming to me for advice? If Tank comes to me, I'd advise him too, so what's the problem?" Despite their past differences, Mayweather has remained in Gervonta Davis's corner for much of his career, and Davis has generally respected the former world champion. However, with the upcoming fight between Davis and Martin, it's clear that their alliances are starting to shift.
Help him become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great.
Maidana pushes Mayweather to the corner again. He is turning this clash into a street.
The tension between Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather has only increased following their highly publicized online disagreement last month. When Frank Martin was asked about any advice he received from Mayweather before his fight, he shared an interesting tip. Martin explained, "He told me to go run at 2 a.m. because most of the time you know your opponent is sleeping at that time." While Martin didn't specifically train at that hour, he noted that doing so would give him a mental advantage over his opponent. These small details, Martin explained, can make a big difference in the end. He also emphasized that the advice wasn't anything new, but coming from someone like Floyd, who has reached the highest level in the sport, it carried extra weight.
9 out of 10, we know your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 in the morning and go give yourself a mental edge, because you out there working every night at 2 in the morning running.
Frank Martin explained that taking advice like Floyd Mayweather's gives you a new kind of motivation. He said, when you do something like that, it hits you differently and gives you a different type of drive. Martin also noted that even though a boxer might not be able to replicate everything Floyd does, it still changes the way you feel about yourself, giving you a fresh perspective. Interestingly, this is similar to what Mike Tyson used to do before his fights. Tyson would often run at 3 a.m. or chop wood as part of his routine to mentally prepare and gain an edge over his opponents. These unique rituals helped Tyson become the youngest heavyweight champion and eventually an undisputed champion. However, despite the mental preparation and advice from Floyd, it didn't stop Tank Davis from achieving his goal on fight night. Davis, who had taken a year-long break due to a hit-and-run incident and spent 90 days in a Baltimore prison, came out on top, securing an 8th-round knockout to claim victory.
The claims on X that the fight was canceled the last couple of weeks.
He's the one told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock.
Despite the gap in his career, Tank Davis's skills in the ring remain sharp. In his most recent fight in April of last year, he defeated Ryan Garcia and then followed it up with a similar outcome against Frank Martin. In fact, before Davis's bout with Martin, Floyd Mayweather made a bold move, telling his fans to watch UFC instead of boxing after the two had been trading jabs on social media. Famous boxing reporter Michael Benson shared the news of this back and forth between the two.
Really? How'd you know that? Just word of mouth?
The feud between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta "Tank" Davis continued to heat up, with Mayweather trolling Davis by posting that the Frank Martin fight had been canceled. Davis fired back, saying, "Keep talking and we'll pull up to your house and lay hands on you." Tank went on to deliver a brutal knockout to Martin on Saturday. After the fight, he spoke about Mayweather's attempt to help Martin by offering him tips on how to defeat Davis. "He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that, but I knew it wasn't going to be enough to beat me," Davis said. "It's cool. I don't think much of it. It's better to have beef with him than to be cool with him."
Oh, really? So they were like spying her, kind of?
No. He got a club.
Rounds. Maidana having a hard time finding him against the ropes.
Floyd Mayweather was the one who told Frank Martin that Gervonta "Tank" Davis was running at 5 a.m. At one point, Davis had even said he would be willing to fight Mayweather in the ring, considering him one of his peers. During an interview with Davis Nagy on Cigar Talk, the topic of the feud with Mayweather came up, leading to a strong response from Davis. "A lot of people don't know what Floyd is really doing," Davis said. "He was coming at me, and I knew for sure he was. That's why I went to him. There was no reason for me to go after Floyd before that. Davis was referring to an earlier comment from Mayweather, which he felt was aimed directly at him.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After that second fight.
Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro. Nah, I could tell you my fights.
When Najee mentioned that over the years, Davis and Floyd Mayweather's relationship appeared to be a mix of love and hate, Davis strongly disagreed. He insisted that he had already surpassed Mayweather's legacy. "I'm at the point where I've passed him, and I'm doing it at a young age," said Davis. But Davis wasn't finished making his point. He went on to talk about a new deal he had signed. While Floyd Mayweather's contract with Showtime back in 2013 was reportedly worth $200 million, Davis made it clear that he was going in a different direction. However, some boxing experts believe that despite Davis's undeniable talent, he may end up becoming just another average fighter due to his questionable decisions and lack of discipline. Many believe that Tank Davis's contentment with mediocrity could be what ultimately holds him back from reaching his full potential in the sport.
Me. You know, the Gervonta Davis fight with Lamont Roach. Lamont's a good fighter. He's a perennial contender. He's been a contender for his whole career. I think he's been pro for about a decade. I can remember him all the way back in his Golden Boy days. Was, you know, solid perennial contender. Always came up just a little short and then finally got over the hump.
The past few weeks have been quite eventful for Gervonta "Tank" Davis. In early December 2024, he shocked fans by announcing his retirement from boxing. Then he left everyone confused by sending mixed signals about his upcoming fight with Lamont Roach Jr. On top of that, last week, Davis got into a social media argument with Terrence Crawford. Despite the drama, Tank Davis is still scheduled to defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st, 2025 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. As of now, there have been no official announcements about any cancellation of the fight. Davis also hinted that he might soon reveal who his next opponent will be, with many speculating it could be a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Garcia, who is set to return to the ring on April 20th after serving a one-year suspension for testing positive for Ostarine during his fight against Devin Haney, is a likely candidate for the match.
But that's on him. Do you still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Lamont Roach, but do you feel like you guys could fight 2025 or 2026? I ain't gonna lie.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis has some big plans for 2025, with a goal to retire after 3 fights. After his upcoming battle with Lamont Roach Jr., he will have 2 more spots to fill. One of those could be a lucrative matchup with Ryan Garcia, who has been making noise in the boxing world. Tank Davis has earned a reputation for his explosive power, speed, and knockout ability, making him one of the most thrilling fighters to watch. He became one of the youngest champions in boxing history at just 22 years old, and has held titles across the super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight divisions. Throughout his career, Davis has scored impressive wins over top fighters like Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios, Rolando Romero, and Garcia. As of 2025, Davis remains undefeated, though he hasn't been very active in the ring. His most recent win was in June 2024 against Frank Martin. Fans are eagerly waiting for more high-profile matchups, with potential fights against stars like Shakur Stevenson or Vasily Lomachenko on the horizon, especially with the possibility of unifying titles.
Very skilled and also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is, and his power is...
Paulie Malignaggi has expressed his disappointment with Gervonta "Tank" Davis for choosing what he sees as easy opponents. When it was announced that Davis would be fighting Lamont Roach Jr., a super featherweight champion, moving up in weight for the challenge in March, Malignaggi voiced his frustration. He said if Lamont Roach had made 4 or 5 defenses at 135 pounds, then I might be more interested. But instead, you're just recycling the same champions without any progress. You're hurting the sport and just lining your own pockets. Malignaggi went on to say that he defends the sport and wants to see the best matchups, not just pay-per-view events with B-level fights.
Oh, that a python is a dangerous animal, and I gotta see a python take on an alligator. I'll say, okay, well, why do I gotta watch a python take on a turkey or a rooster or a chicken? Why do I gotta watch that? I already know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's a slaughter, right? That's a slaughter.
While the main event may not be everyone's favorite, the undercard for the upcoming event in Brooklyn promises some exciting matchups. World Boxing Association super lightweight champion Jose Valenzuela will defend his title against Gary Antoine Russell, and World Boxing Council super lightweight champion Alberto Puello will face Sandor Martin. In addition to this, Gervonta "Tank" Davis has announced his plan to retire from boxing at the end of this year. Fans, including Paulie Malignaggi, are hoping that Davis makes the most of his final 12 months in the sport. However, World Boxing Council lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson has recently shifted his perspective on Davis's retirement plans.
But you know what? You would give it a Nile River crocodile or alligator, and when I confuse alligators and crocodiles, but whatever. Give it a Nile River alligator, and
In December, WBA lightweight champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis shocked fans by announcing his decision to retire from boxing after 2025. He explained that his frustrations with the politics of the sport were a major factor in his decision. Davis confirmed that he plans to retire following his next fight, which is set for March 1, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. In this fight, he will defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr. Originally scheduled for December in Houston, the bout was postponed for undisclosed reasons. This upcoming match could be Davis's final opportunity to reinforce his dominance in the lightweight division before stepping away from boxing.
Python, all right, bro, you know, you got me interested. You're like, all right, bro, let's see who wins this. You know what I mean? It's, you know, obviously we're not fighting to the death in boxing, but nonetheless, intrigue me.
122. Gervonta "Tank" Davis's decision to retire at the height of his career has shaken up the boxing world, sparking a range of reactions. While some criticize his choice to step away while he's still in his prime, Davis remains one of the most captivating and divisive figures in modern boxing. Known for his fierce fighting style and powerful knockout ability, he has cemented his place as one of the sport's top athletes. As his retirement draws near, discussions about the legacy he will leave behind are expected to dominate the boxing world in the coming months.
I ain't into chasing people around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen, but I ain't gonna lie, I can't sit there and chase you and then...
Shakur Stevenson has expressed his thoughts on Gervonta "Tank" Davis's retirement plans, saying that if Davis wants to walk away with the career he's built, then that's his choice. However, Stevenson disagrees with it, calling it soft. He made it clear in an interview with Fight Hub TV that he's not interested in chasing anyone around. He said, "If he's willing to fight, I'm ready. It should happen, but I'm not going to chase him down. I'm not going to sit there and make it seem like I need him. I don't need him." If Davis retires without facing Stevenson, boxing will miss out on one of the most eagerly awaited lightweight showdowns in recent years. Meanwhile, Stevenson, the World Boxing Council lightweight champion, is gearing up for his upcoming fight against rising star Floyd Schofield Jr. on February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
You know, he could try to make it seem as though I need him, and I don't need him, so...
Gervonta Davis seems set on retiring in 2025, aiming to secure his place as one of the greatest fighters of his generation. However, fans are still hoping that in his final year he will give them some of the most exciting fights of his already impressive career. Former four-division world champion Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts on Davis's future, suggesting that a unification fight against Vasyl Lomachenko would be more thrilling than a match with Shakur Stevenson. Garcia acknowledged Stevenson's skills, calling him a great fighter with excellent talent, footwork, speed, reflexes, and counter-punching ability, but when speaking to Fight Hub TV, he expressed that a fight with Lomachenko would bring even more excitement to the ring.
I'll tell you why. I'm not a big fan of that fight. Now, I do believe Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter as well. As
Mikey Garcia recently shared his thoughts on Shakur Stevenson and a potential fight between him and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. While he praised Stevenson, Garcia said he wouldn't want to see Tank face him in the ring. He explained that Stevenson's style is more focused on boxing and would avoid an all-out fight, unlike someone like Vasily Lomachenko, who is always there to fight, even though he also has great footwork and speed. Garcia added that a fight between Tank and Shakur would be less exciting because Stevenson would likely stick to his boxing strategy, no matter what critics or fans might want. Garcia also mentioned that he would rather see Tank face other fighters, like Lomachenko, who are more willing to go toe-to-toe. It's still unclear whether a fight between Davis and Lomachenko will happen, especially after their planned matchup last November fell through.
Because Shakur Stevenson is the kind of fighter that he's going to do He's gonna fight his fight regardless of what the critics or fans or anybody wants to see. He's gonna fight his fight, which is fun. That's his style. He's gonna be a boxer.
He did the cleaner work in the middle of the ring, but he still spent a bit too much time on the rope.
Vasily Lomachenko, a 3-division world champion, currently holds a lightweight title but has yet to defend it. It's been 8 months since he won the belt from George Kambosos Jr. in an 11th round stoppage. Lomachenko was supposed to meet a 60-day medical extension deadline, which passed on January 11th. As a result, the International Boxing Federation, IBF, had to order contenders Raymond M. Tala and Shavkat Junrakimov to fight for an interim championship. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson, who is gearing up for his own lightweight title defense against Floyd Schofield on February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is facing some criticism of his own. Despite winning his last 2 fights, Stevenson was criticized for his passive style and victories over Edwin De Los Santos and Jamel Herring. To earn a fight with Davis, Garcia believes Stevenson will need to change his approach in the ring.
He's got the talent, he's got the skills, great boxer. Super talented with footwork, with speed, with reflexes, counter-punching ability. He's one of the very, very best. But I'm not a fan of that fight.
Garcia believes a fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson wouldn't be as exciting. He feels that the matchup wouldn't bring the same level of excitement as other potential fights for Tank. That's all for now. For the latest updates on everything happening in the world of boxing, make sure to stay connected with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you're alerted every time we release new content like this. Until next time, take care and peace out.